Hey guys, what's up? EvanTheGamer here, and welcome to one of my videos, of course. Now today, as you can see in the title and on the screen, this is the Stanley Parable. Never played this before, no idea what it's about. I don't know when it was released, but yeah. And like in the description for the store page, it says, "You will play as Stanley, you will not play as Stanley," and things like that. So, let's just yeah, I've never played this before. I don't know what it is. Oh, that's weird. If you look on the right of the computer, you can see my screen. And then if you look at that, you can see a screen. That's weird. You can see a screen vortex. End is never the end, is never the end, is loading. What? Oh yeah, okay. This was confusing, it's not. Okay.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day, every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-breaking, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Okay, that was weird.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Oh no!
No one showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi.
Oh no!
Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation.
What a shame.
Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.
I'm moving the camera.
But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Did I? Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Where's the meeting room? Where's the meeting room? Where's the meeting room? Hello? Where's the meeting room? Can I go in the door? Is this a meeting room? Where do I go?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Did I? I don't know. Should I pick the right? Oh, it's closed now. Where am I? This is messed up. It's gonna close.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay. Okay, that's a little weird. Why do the doors keep closing behind me? It's the broom closet. Someone was in the broom closet, apparently. Where is the manager's office?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I'm gonna walk down. I'm gonna get lost. What are these windows? What is this game? What is this game? Where is the manager's office? Sweet office, bro. I can go back out, I think. No! What's this room? Executive bathroom. Oh. Executive bathroom sounds interesting. Hello? It's Mr. Burns' office.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Where is
Shocked,
everybody?
unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845.
It's not very secret.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Step into the light. It's Narnia. No. This is so freaky. Do I go down? Do I press this? What is this? What is in this office? Time for some saxophone while we wait. See, very good.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him?
As you can
This
probably tell, my
question
saxophone
would
wasn't
not go
working then.
unanswered for long.
Just so you know, my saxophone wasn't working for some reason. And also you couldn't tell, but I was trying to play Land of Hope and Glory.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Would I? I'm just gonna go and check.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on
I
track.
love how it's telling me what to do.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
I'm scared now. Can I? I'm gonna go to my death. I'm scared. I have no idea what's gonna happen. What just happened? I thought it was going to be a jump scare. Oh.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Oh God, no.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Doesn't look like it.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
No.
What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Did I have to restart the whole thing?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
Oh, no.
Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
What is this? It's my computer. Office layout. This blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development, so the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Oh yeah, this is my office. It goes down there, and then down there, and then down here. Corridor. The pacing of this corridor section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches to the two doors in a good time. And that's this boss's office. The two doors. The set of two open doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction, I think, this room posed. What? Oh yeah, the filing cabinets. I saw those. What's this? The office. Button sounds. A selection of sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of keyboard stroke and a synth. Yeah. This is weird. It's the credits. Office playing cards. Office clock. This is just a museum now. Where do I go?
When Stanley came to the lift, he traveled upward to the power source at the door of the facility.
How do I go? What? This is really confusing. Oh yeah, the elevator.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. how they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice.
Should I do it again? God, I don't know. I don't even know. Should I? Yeah, I'll begin the game again. This again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed...
Right, okay, so yeah, right, okay, I'm back to where I was.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I'm not gonna try to like escape. What did I do now?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Sorry, I'm just having a bit of water from my glass of water. There's another platform there.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
There's a bridge up there, so I'm guessing I have to go up there. There's a bridge invisible and up there in the sky. How many employees does he have?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Wow, I just splashed water in my eye. Oh my goodness.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Oh my god, I just had another sip and I splashed it in my other eye. Ow.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Am I supposed to go in here? supposed to go in here? Which one do I choose? Am I supposed to choose off or on? Off? No. No. What's happened?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Oh yeah, I beat the game. Is that really over? End is never the end, is never the end, is loading. Does the game just restart it?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Okay, yeah, well, the game's over, so yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I've been EvanTheGamer. This has been the Stanley Parable. What a weird game. No idea what on earth this was. Really weird. Yeah, I might play it again another time just to like show you what would happen if I said like if I went through the right corridor to the left and if I pressed on and stuff, because yeah, you already saw that if I went down the escape route I died horribly. But yeah, and this is really weird. I beat the game, got an achievement. Yeah, so yeah, I'd just like to say thank you for Blacklight Phantom. Well, his name now is Soggy Biscuits. For some reason, like he changed it because of a game called Soggy Biscuits that I told him, if you want, search it up. I don't recommend it though, it's a really weird game. Just don't search it up, but if you do, then be my guest, just don't blame me if you're disgusted. So yeah, he changed his name to that, so yeah, and anyway, the reason I'm thanking him is because, I'm going to let you in a little secret, this isn't my game. He shared his games with me on Steam, so as long as he's not online, and so basically I can play any of his games for as long as I want, as long as he's not online, and he hasn't been online for quite a while, so yeah, I get to play this game. He bought it, so I got it for free basically. He paid $6.99 or something, so every game he downloads I get. That's just the life. He shared his games with me. Yeah, so yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please like, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me.